Hey there, third graders. It's Ms. Zhao here. Today we're going to do 9-6. We're continuing with subtraction, three-digit numbers. These problems will have regrouping. Instead of using the method we learned yesterday, where we subtract as many hundreds as we need to, and then as many tens as we can, and then the rest of the tens that we need to, and the ones and so on, we are going to be using the standard algorithm. So that's the one that a lot of you were taught already, perhaps by parents, or I don't know, where you start with the ones place, subtract the ones. If there aren't enough, you regroup 110 and so on. So we're going to take a look at how we do that, focusing on the value of each digit depending on the place value. We can see how that works with place value blocks and then without them. So how the numbers, what we write in the standard algorithm represents basically what we were doing with place value blocks. So they're still good tools to show the process of regrouping. But we're not going to use place value blocks to solve every single problem. We'll just do it once to show the comparison, and then use the standard algorithm to solve the rest of the problems. All right, first we're going to do the visual learning video. So let me share my screen. We'll do it this way.
How can you use subtraction to solve problems? Think about this question during the lesson. Mike and Linda play a game. How many more points does Linda score than Mike? Find 528 minus 341. Estimate by rounding to the nearest 10. 530 minus 340 equals 190. What information is shown in the bar diagram?
So if we click on this part here, let's see what 528 represents.
This is the number of points Linda has, 528.
In this caption, they have a dash here. Don't be confused about that being a subtraction symbol or a negative sign. Okay. Now let's click on a different part of the bar diagram.
This is the number of points Mike has, 341.
And then the question mark is the unknown.
This is the number you need to find. How many more points Linda has than Mike?
The bar diagram shows the number of points that both Linda and Mike have. How do you know to subtract the number of points?
Think about that for a moment. When we hear the word difference, find the difference, we know we should be subtracting, right?
The problem asks how many more points Linda has than Mike. Subtraction helps find the difference, or how many more.
You can use place value to subtract using an algorithm.
Using the standard algorithm, what place value is subtracted first?
Select your answer.
So we start with the ones place when we're using the standard algorithm, where the three-digit, well, where it doesn't always have to be a three-digit number, but in this case, where the three-digit number is stacked on top of the other three-digit number that is being subtracted. So we start from the right-hand side, which is the ones place.
The ones place is subtracted first. Subtract the ones. 8 ones is greater than 1 1. You do not need to regroup. 8 ones minus 1 1 equals 7 ones. Why don't you need to regroup to subtract the ones? You don't need to regroup because 8 is greater than 1. Now subtract the tens. Since 2 tens is less than 4 tens, regroup 100 into 10 tens. Why have both the 5 and the 2 in 528 been crossed out? Both the tens and the hundreds have been regrouped. 12 tens minus 4 tens equals 8 tens. Subtract the hundreds. 4 hundreds minus 3 hundreds equals 100. Linda has 187 more points. How does an estimate help you decide if the answer is reasonable? If an estimate is close to an exact answer, then the answer is reasonable. For this problem, 187 is close to the estimate 190. The answer is reasonable. Now you know how to use subtraction to solve a problem.
Awesome. All right. So I know that we typically do the solve and share problem before we watch the visual learning video. I kind of flip-flopped that. But this is page 505, and we're going to do this together. Last year, there were 347 houses for sale in Mill County. I'm going to take my little highlighter here. So 300, oops. Okay, that was not a highlighter. That was draw a line. All right. 347 houses for sale in Mill County and 289 houses for sale in Hunter County. Of the houses for sale in Mill County, it's these 347, 162 were sold. How many houses in Mill County were not sold? Whew. All right. So, first of all, what do we know? They give us the number of houses for sale in a county called Mill County last year. They give us the number of houses for sale in a different county, Hunter County, last year. And then they tell us that 162 of the houses in Mill County were for sale. 162 were sold, but not all of them. Okay, so how many houses in Mill County were not sold is the question. There's some tricky information in here. We do not need to know how many houses were for sale in Hunter County in order to answer this question. How many houses in Mill County were not sold? So there's extra information. They're trying to trick us. I think they're trying to trick us. So it says we can solve this problem any way we choose. Okay. I'm going to draw a bar diagram, actually, just to get started. And the top is going to have the total number of houses for sale in Mill County. So 347. Okay, that'll be my bar at the top. And then let's see, I don't need the 289 in order to answer this question. 162 were sold. Okay, so I'm going to draw the bar part way. And I'll go ahead and finish drawing it. But on one part, I'll write 162. That represents the number of houses in Mill County that were sold. And then this part represents, with the question mark here, that represents the unknown, the number of houses in Mill County that were not sold. And we just don't know that number yet, right? So I could use numbers, I suppose. Let's see here. Do I need to move this? I can't. Okay. Hold on a sec. Sorry. Playing with the different tools. So 347. I'll just write it. Okay. So 347. We're finding the difference between 347 and 162. Making sure that we're lining up the digits by place value so that we come up with an accurate answer. So we're finding the difference. We're subtracting 162 from 347. Okay, so with the standard algorithm, we start with the ones. Oops, keep scrolling and marking up the page. Sorry. All right. All right. I think I can change colors, so let's try that. I'll use red. Okay. So starting with the ones, we start with 7 ones, and we're subtracting 2 ones from 7 ones, leaving us with 5 ones. We know that 7 is greater than 2, so we don't need to regroup. 7 minus 2 equals 5. Now for the tens. 4 tens, 40. That's less than 6 tens, or 60. So we will need to regroup. There aren't enough tens here to subtract 6 tens from 4 tens. So we regroup 100 for 10 tens. That leaves us with 200s. We now have 10 tens to add to the 4 tens that are here. Right? Now we have 14 tens. 14 is greater than 6. So we can subtract 6 from 14. 14 tens minus 6 tens equals, do you remember? 8 tens in this case. 200s are greater than 100. That's a good thing. We have no way to regroup. So we don't have to regroup anyway. 200s minus 100 is 100. So here we go. Our difference is 185. Let's look back at the original question. How many houses in Mill County were not sold? Okay. 185. So 185 houses in Mill County were not sold. And we can hit enter. No, we don't need to hit enter. I just can move this, I think. All right. There we go. Okay. Now, I would like to take a look at the look back down below, because this one's about using appropriate tools. And they want us to think about place value blocks. How could we use place value blocks to show how to regroup in this problem? So this interactive student edition, this workbook, I've been using these tools here to write on the screen. Happens to include a cool feature. It's a stamp. Let me move it down so I have it where I need it. Move my picture out of the way. And that just slides down the page. Okay, need to be able to see that problem there too. Okay, so this is the drawing tool, but right below it, there's a stamp. And this one shows you could use a red counter or a yellow counter. Cool, that would be helpful, with multiplication, showing equal groups. But then they have this stamp right down here, place value blocks. So that's fun. Then you select the number, or you select which one you need, the ones, the tens, or the hundreds block. So the number we're starting out with, the greater number, is 347. So we need to show with place value blocks 347. We start with the greatest place value, in this case the hundreds. There are no thousands in the number 347. So we select the hundreds. We need 3 of them. So when you click, it places it down. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now I need to go back over here to my stamp tool, select place value blocks, and go to the tens block. How many tens are in the number 347? 4. So we place 4 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the stamp. Now for the ones. 347 has 7 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I'm gonna go away from the stamping tool for right now. Just go back to using just basically like a black pen. All right. Scroll down a bit. Or first scroll up to see. Remember, we're subtracting 162 from 347. Okay. And we're going to show how this looks, how we can represent this standard algorithm using place value blocks. Okay. Sorry. 347 minus 162. So we subtract the ones. Okay, here are our 7 ones. And to show that we're subtracting 2 of them, I'm going to cross them out. So just draw an X through. 1, 2, or no, that's taking 1 away, and this is taking the second 1 away. Okay, leaving us with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is what we have right here. Now in 347, we have 4 tens. There we go. We're asked to take 6 tens away. See, in the 162, the 6 tens. And as you can see, our place value box, there aren't 6 tens to take away. You can only take away 4. But we can regroup. We can regroup 100 for 10 tens. So I think I'm going to show that a different way instead of, well, yeah, I guess I can X it out. But now I'll go back to my stamp, get another 10, and I think what I'll do is I'll just place them down here. So 1, 2, just kind of spreading them out. It's like we're slicing up that hundreds block into 10 equal pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now we have just as we showed in the standard algorithm up here, 14 tens. And in place value box, we see that here with our original 4 tens plus the 10 tens that we regrouped, or that we got from regrouping the 100, right? So we have 14 tens shown here. Now we can take 6 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many tens does that leave us with? Okay, let's count. 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's look back up at our standard algorithm. Sure enough, we have 8 in the tens column. Okay, so we've subtracted 2 ones, we subtracted 6 tens. Now we need to subtract 100. You can see we crossed out the 300s and wrote 2 in the hundreds place to represent how we had to regroup one of the hundreds, and we crossed that out so that we could get the 10 tens. So yes, sure enough, there are 2 hundreds here. And now we need to take 1 away. Cross it out. So 200 minus 100. Yep, there it is. We're left with 100. So then again, if we count the number of place value blocks we have left, I'll just switch colors. We've got 100 right here. 100. 8 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. 8 tens. And 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 5 ones. I didn't really have to do check marks, but it helps me show you where I'm counting. So this is how we can use place value blocks to show how to regroup in this particular problem. All right. So No, that makes sense. As you turn the page, the physical page, you'll see this is the same information that we saw in the visual learning video. Next page. It shows page 507. This is the top of page 507. So it's just another example. So this one shows you when you have to regroup twice, what's happening at each step. I'm not going to talk you through that, but it's helpful to know there's another example there if you need to refer to it. Okay. So we're going to have you pause the video in just a moment here. I'd like for you to solve guided practice problems 2 and 3 right here. 2 and 3. And then I will share the answers with you. The video will end as soon as you find out what you're going to need to do for guided practice. Okay. So right there on page 507 with your pencil, or if you don't have your workbook for some reason with you right now, you can just copy this problem down on a whiteboard or on paper. 374 minus 176. Using the standard algorithm, subtract, starting with the ones. So pause the video and solve numbers 2 and 3. Go ahead, pause it. And when you unpause it, you need to be finished with 2 and 3 because I'm going to share the example or answers. All right. Did you find the pause button? All right. So I guess you've solved 2 and 3 because you're back. Hopefully you noticed on number 2 that you can't take 6 ones away from 4 ones, so we need to regroup. Yeah, so we've got 7 tens. Okay. If we regroup one of those tens for 10 ones, we now have 14 ones. Not just 4, 14. So that's good. 6 subtracted from 14 is 9. Did you get that? No, just kidding. It's not. It's 8. Okay. 14 minus 6 equals 8. Now look at the tens column. Uh-oh. We did have enough tens before, but we needed one of those tens to regroup for 10 ones. So now we only have 6. We can't take 7 tens away from 6 tens. So we've got to regroup one of the hundreds. Cross it out. Okay. Instead of 300s, we now have 200s. But we've got 10 extra tens. So instead of 6 tens, we now have 16 tens. Sometimes people just put the 1 right just to the left of this 6, just it gets a little squishy for me, and then it looks like 216. So I just like to cross it out and write it up here. So we have 16 tens. 16 minus 7 is 9. You do that. And 200 minus 200s minus 100 equals 100. So for number 2, you should have gotten 198. Yep. Check your work. Make sure you did that. I'm just gonna skip ahead, and instead of going through the whole thing, I'm just gonna write in a different color here, red. kind of like it looks in my answer key. The answer to number 3 is 637. When they print the answers, they don't go through and show all of the regroupings. That kind of bothers me. So I feel like, you know, even though I changed colors, I still want to show the work. So you can't take 9 away from 6. 1, so to regroup 110 for 10 ones. Instead of 6 ones, we have 16 ones. 16 minus 9 is 7. Oh, look, 4 is greater than 1. 4 tens is greater than 1. So we don't have to regroup. We can subtract 1. There are 3 tens. 8, of course, is greater than 2. So when we subtract 200s from 800, we get 600. 637. All right. How'd you do? Did you get those? Maybe made a little miscalculation. No. Did you get them right? All right. I think you understand the process. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you just need to do, so there's 2 things you need to do for each problem. You have to estimate first by rounding to the nearest 10. Then find the exact difference. Check your answers for reasonableness by comparing your estimated answer with your exact answer. So if I were doing number 4, let's say, and first I want to round each part of the problem to the nearest 10. So 431 rounded to the nearest 10. Just switching colors here. I'll do my estimated work over on the side. So 431 is closer to 430. Oops. Where's my pencil? Okay, I'll just do it right here. So 430 minus, 145. Remember the rule, if the number is right in the middle, then you round up. So we're rounding to the nearest 10, tens place. So we look at the number, let's look at this. The digit in the rounding place is 4. So we'll look at the digit just to the right of it, 5. If it's 5 or greater, then you round up. So it is 5 or greater. So you round up. So instead of 4 tens, it's going to be 5 tens. So another way of saying round up to 150. That's the nearest tens. When you subtract, you would get estimated answer is 280. Okay, let's switch colors again. And now the exact answer. Okay. Can't take away 5 ones from 1 1, so we need to regroup. We've got 3 tens here, so let's regroup one of them. Instead of 1 1, we're going to now have 11 ones. Instead of 3 tens, we only have 2 tens now. You can't take 4 tens away from 2 tens, so we need to regroup again. Instead of 400s, we have 300s. However, we also have 10 tens to use, so this is getting messy here. We have 12 tens instead of 2 tens. 12 minus 4 is 8. Nope, I didn't even subtract this. 11 minus 5 is equals 6. 12 minus 4 equals 8. And 300s minus 100 equals 200. That looks like a Z. 200. 286 is my answer. How does that compare to my estimated answer? Well, they're close. So my answer is reasonable. All right, I just did number 4. Since you have to do the estimated part and the exact answer, like I showed in number 4, I'm going to just have you do the odd numbered problems. I decided just now. So for independent practice on page 507, I keep forgetting that this yellow marker thing is not a highlighter. Okay.